and what rig you are currently running. And are you excited for dirt? We are finally getting into dirt season, and I could not be more stoked. So, we're going to get started here in just 1 second as people continue to pile in. Say what's up in the chat below. Let us know where you are coming in from. Let us know what rig it is you are running. We would love to see. I'm going to get this thing kicked off here in just 1 second as friends and family continue to pile into today's masterclass. So let's see. I'm scanning through the chat right now. We have Baltimore, we have Seattle, Simi Valley. Holy moly, you guys are quick typers. West Virginia, Spokane, you're just in my neck of the woods. Do we have anyone from Idaho? Raise your hand. Put it in the chat. Let us know. Oh, I just saw Idaho Falls. What timing? All right. And if you're joining us, thank you so much. We are going to get started here in just 1 second. You are joining April's onX Offroad Masterclass, where we will cover all of the burning questions as it relates to the off-road product. If you're new here, as people are continuing to trickle in, just one last PSA. Please put comments, general stoke comments into the chat. Let us know where you're coming in from, what rig you are running. If you have questions regarding the product or what I'm covering tonight, please put that in the Q&A where we have a team who's going to go through, answer as many questions as possible so that way you are not left hanging. And let's get on with the show. So tonight's host, you've got myself, Andy Zielinski, product marketing for onX Offroad. So I get the joy of working on feature development with our product team and then making sure all of you good people get to hear about these features, learn about the features, and ultimately use these features on the adventure you're about to go on. And then right next to me, you have not really a co-host, but the rig that I run, which is a 1995 Toyota Land Cruiser, affectionately named Larry the Land Cruiser. And yeah, this guy's been in the family for almost 12 years. I bought it just bone stock, have put everything on it that you see, including the dirt, including the scratches, including the missing flare, because I got myself stuck like we all do, and I tried to get myself out and ripped the flare and snapped it in a few different pieces while pulling myself out of a sticky situation. Also, while we are kind of going through this, I think it would be fun in the chat section. Let us know if you're comfortable. Like, what is like the gnarliest situation you've gotten yourself into, and how did you get yourself out? Whether you're in a creek bed or whatever. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I want to be surprised by some of the stories you guys got. So drop those in the chat. Let's get going into the menu for tonight. So what we got going tonight is a general overview. So I'll cover kind of like the high level of what it is we offer. And then I'm going to go over some features. Now, this is where I'm going to encourage you all. I'm going to give you the heads up. I will try to go slow. So do not virtually yell at me if I'm going too fast. And if there are some questions that you might have, note them down, put them in the chat, and someone in the chat will be able to answer them. I will not be keeping an eye on the chat. So if you think you're yelling at me to get my attention because you want more clarity on something, I won't be able to see it, but someone will ping me on the side, let me know. But I'm going to do a slow deep dive in the features, and then we've got a really, really, really great giveaway for you guys tonight. So stick around for that because I promise you will not want to miss it. So I am going to do, oops, don't look, don't look, don't look. That's the worst part of every masterclass is trying to transition my screens. You might have gotten a tease into what the giveaway is, but that's okay. So let's go over here. And Melissa, do you see the map? Is that up?
Looks good, Andy.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get into the map. So, why we are all here tonight. We are here to learn about the onX Offroad Map. So I am looking at the desktop view. So if you're on your computer and you have the ability, open up another tab, follow along, or if you have your mobile device handy, our app and our desktop version is one-to-one parity. So if you're looking at your phone and looking at the app, you will see everything that you see on desktop. Now, I want to caveat because this happens every class. We'll always hear, well, I don't see this feature or I don't see that feature. And it could be because you're in a different membership tier where that feature is not available to you. I will get to that later. But for the sake of orienting yourself to tonight's masterclass, on this left-hand side, you're going to see what is called the navigation bar. If you're in your mobile device, this is going to be at the bottom of the screen. So that nav bar will look probably black with these icons: Discover, Offline Maps, My Content, all organized at the bottom. So as I'm walking through the desktop version, just so you can kind of visually orient yourself, that's how you want to do that. So, for starters, we're here looking at the map. I have got North Idaho pulled up where I'm currently based out of. Say what's up in the chat if you're from North Idaho or live around here. And I'm going to simply click on this activity tab. If you can see my cursor right here. Oh, I see Hayden. Okay, I'm not going to get distracted on the chat anymore. The dirt activity tab right here. I'm going to go ahead and click that. And what that's going to do is that's going to pull open basically the trail filtering system. The trail filtering system will allow you to kind of look at a quick view around all the different trails in your area organized by the ride type. So as you can see right now, I have everything selected for all, and you're seeing a pretty substantial amount of trails in my area. I'm going to zoom out and you're going to see the map continue to populate. So as I zoom back in, look what happens when I start selecting different width of trail. So let's say that I'm only interested in dirt bike and I want some single track. I'm going to click single track. And now that dramatically changes the view of how I am looking at the map, the trails that are available to me. But then if I go in and I start adding, you can multi-select, or you can, click the button that you just clicked on to deselect. And in my use case, I'm going to select high clearance 4x4 because Larry the Land Cruiser is a high clearance vehicle. And now the trails in my area that have accessibility based off of that ride type specification is now pulled up and visible to me anywhere that I'm zooming or panning around a map. And then you can also select your difficulty level. Now, this is a new feature that we've added over the past couple months. And I'm going to jump down to kind of explain the why behind that. So if you look, and I'm pointing as if you can see my finger, which I know you can't, but if you look at this screen right here and scroll down, you're going to see this map legend tucked at the bottom of the activity tab. If you click on that, it will tell you how the trails are organized on the map and what the different colors mean. So green would mean easy, blue means moderate, black, difficult, so on and so forth. This is a brand new change to the map because previously we would display trails that had a ton of information, but you didn't quite know at a moment's glance what it was you were looking for. And we really value at onX the product to be intuitive as possible, because we know that like mapping software can be complicated. So we want to remove some of the barriers, and we recognize that not everyone is out wanting to rock crawl or have or just run a simple, easy Forest Service road. So to be able to organize trails in a way that visually you can see, let me zoom back out. You can see the different difficulties by color is something that we really, there's not many pulling up right now. Let me back out of this so you can get a sense. Uh, I'm sure you can see that now, virtually not along with me. Yep, okay. So you can see all of the trails populate by the different difficulty rating. And that's important because there's going to be days where you just want a nice, mellow trail run midday. You don't have a lot of time. Select an easy trail and off you go. Other days, it might be a weekend adventure. You want to get a little more hectic and you can find a difficult trail to run and then have all the adventure you want at your fingertips. So, another thing to note, I'm going to zoom back in so you guys get a better view here. So I'm going to go back to kind of my area and I am going to select right here. If you can see my cursor, it says private land. Now, this is a feature that is available to our elite members only, which is the highest membership tier on the membership level of onX Offroad. And what you can do is when you toggle that, now you see, hopefully you do, you can see all of these red squares show up. All of these red squares that just appeared on the map are actually property boundaries. And as you zoom in to get a look at the map, you can see who the property belongs to. And if you're on a trail, and this is really important to know because a lot of trails, Forest Service roads, they might be cutting through someone's property. And while accessibility might be open, doing anything on that property would be illegal. And so having a baseline understanding of where you are recreating is a huge advantage, but also a huge, in my opinion, requirement to having a safe and fun adventure out there. So you have, excuse me, you have your private land layer right here. I'm going to go ahead and toggle that off and I'm going to zoom back out. And then you also have an active wildfire layer, which what this will do, what this will do, it will pull up where active wildfires are located. If you click on this, it will tell you, yeah, so this is actually pretty recent. So there was, it last checked today, the 1824. We will send you out to the source site, who's reported the incident. So that way you can stay up to date, especially as summer approaches, dry season approaches. If there's haze in the air and you don't want to go out recreating in compromised air quality, this is a great tool to be able to, one, understand what's happening in your area and then the affected areas around based off of that fire layer. Now, I hope I'm not going too fast. I am going to move myself over now to this navigation bar, which again, if you're on your mobile, look at the bottom and it's going to be the left-hand tab that you tap on. If you're on your desktop, it's right here. It says Discover. Go ahead and click on that. What this is going to do, and this is probably one of my favorite features that we have, is this is going to pull up all of the trails within a 150-ish mile radius. And I say ish because that kind of depends on where you are at in the closest proximity you are to a network of trails. And then based off of your selection back here in the activity tab, this will filter based off of what you've selected. So if I have everything's turned on, but let's go back to high clearance 4x4. Done. Let's go back to discover the trails. Now I'm getting a whole new set of trails, and this will be all trails that I am technically able to run in my Land Cruiser. So let's go to freeze out. Excuse me, got a little tickle in my throat. Go to freeze out right here. At the highest level, let me back up here. At the highest level, we're going to display information on that Discover card. So that way, if you're in a time crunch and you just quickly want some information, the most important information is at the top. That is, how long is the trail? What is the technical rating? And what is it rated as as a difficulty level. So again, 23 miles around, maybe 24. Technically, it's an easy trail with a technical rating of 3 out of 10. Let's click in and see what this has to offer. So, a few things that I see is I will see a trail report status available if a trail report has been submitted. What a trail report is, I'm just going to go ahead and click on this for you guys to follow along. This is the ability for the community to keep the community up to date with the conditions of the trails. Currently on this masterclass, we have almost 1,000 attendees, which is amazing. Thank you for joining. I would love if I could get a fraction of you to go to one of your favorite trails that you've ran. And if you see, let me back up here. If you see on that trail the ability to provide a trail report, please provide a trail report as soon as you can. But make sure that you've been on that trail fairly recently because we want to make sure that the information is up to date and accurate. So, what that looks like, click Add Trail Report, select the date that you were on the trail. So let's just say today I got up super early, wanted to go run a trail. Select your vehicle. You can do that in My Garage, which I will get to in just one second. The vehicle that you ran the trail on, so I'm in my 4x4. And then the trail status. And this is really important because this will help others know if they should go down this trail or avoid this trail. For the sake of illustration, let's just say it's obstructed, so you can technically run the trail still. I'm gonna hit next. And then we just want to know, like, why was it obstructed? Well, was there a washout? Was there deep snow? A down tree? And so for the sake of this one, let's just say there's not any snow up here right now, but a down tree. And then how busy was the trail? Well, it was just me. It was early in the morning. Cool. Select next. Here you have the ability to go in, add some photos. So if you're like me and you're like out adventuring and you see a down tree, I want to make sure that everyone knows 3 miles down this trail, a down tree. You might want to have a winch to either pull the tree off or carry a chainsaw, whatever, but just beware. Add a photo of how big that obstacle or obstruction is, and a brief description of what you saw and where you saw it. Hit submit, and then I'm not going to do that because I was not on this trail and I don't really have a factual report to submit. So I'm going to back out, discard, and then once that is submitted, then this little section, and I picked a trail that does not have a trail report, but this will then be populated with that updated trail report. So again, we almost have 1,000 people on this call. I would encourage all of you by this weekend to go out, run a trail, report back in the app if the trail is open, if it's closed, if you experienced an obstruction. The more that we can generate information into these trail reports, the more that the community is going to benefit. The example I give is, and I'm sure most of you have been there as well. Have you ever walked down the street and there's a whole row of restaurants and a few of them are empty and there's one restaurant that is like line out the door? In my mind, the line out the door, I'm like, something good is going on over there. I want to be a part of what's happening there. Same thing is true with trail reports. The more that we can generate these reports on the trails or for the trails, the more that the community is going to gain confidence in that we're keeping the product and the information up to date. And there's a reason to continue to trust the product as a reliable source. Now, let me get to how one of the ways that we are getting some of this trail information. So you can see that this was submitted by a person named Zach C. So we have this program called the Trail Guide Program, which is basically a hired group of individuals, which is upwards of around 2,200 individuals that are based all throughout the United States. And basically, their job is to go out, run these trails, supply us with photos. So you can see the photo down here, a trail description. So basically a high level overview of what to expect on the trail. And then provide a difficulty rating as well as a technical status. And the reason why onX Offroad goes this route with trail guides versus some other competitors that are generally just crowdsourcing a bunch of information is we want to provide the most accurate, up-to-date, and trustworthy information as much as possible. And crowdsourcing leaves a lot of opportunity for error as well as misinformation. And so the trail guides, they're going out and doing the pre-work, so you don't have to. You get to go out and benefit time on trail, but you also get to help benefit the rest of the community by adding the trail reports. So just know that along with the government data that we get piping into our maps to be able to kind of display the information that we have, we also have off-roaders out there almost on a daily basis, giving us insights and information as to what is happening out on the trail. So I'm going to back out of here. And I know I'm flying and I'm also trying to go slow. So bear with me. If you have any questions, again, throw those questions in the Q&A and a team member will be able to answer those questions. I'm now going to zoom myself back out to this region. I'm going to come up here and I am going to zoom into, and I did see that a few folks were from this area. So maybe you can confirm or deny, but I heard that there's a Sasquatch somewhere up here in the Coeur d'Alene Mountains. And so I want to take the family out and I want to go adventure. But I also know that as soon as I do that, about 2 miles, and I'm not even exaggerating, someone get me in the chat right now and back me here. About 2 miles off pavement, you are getting into some spotty cell territory. So for me, what I do is I will get my offline map ready to go because it's almost guaranteed if I'm out on a trail, it's minutes before I lose cell signal, and I want to make sure that I know where I'm going at all times. So I'm going to do the pre-work and I'm going to go in and make myself an offline map. Now, you can see I've done this a couple times. I'm going to delete this and I'm going to delete this because yeah, you don't need to see that. We're going to do this new. So I'm going to select a new offline map. And now I have the chance to name my map and then choose the resolution that's going to make the most amount of sense for the adventure that I'm going to be out on, whether it's high resolution, medium, or low resolution. Generally speaking, I have found that the medium resolution or satellite image detail is more than enough for me. And it doesn't take hardly any information on your mobile device. So you can scroll around, kind of find your ideal zone that you want this offline map to be in. And then once you have that kind of landed, okay, so I have about a 10 mile kind of yeah, I've got a decent radius that I've built here. Now I'm going to go ahead, and you probably already saw this if you are the observing type, but sassy hunt because we're going out and hunting for Sasquatch, obviously. Notes. Um, look here for sassy. Okay, now mentally I've got that checked. A few things to note. I am building this offline map on my desktop, and I want you to see how quickly I'm going to hit save and it's automatically saved. I have a pop-up that's letting me know that it's been successfully created and saved to my account. Okay, I got it. If you can see here on the screen, I now have that green barrier. And the way I like to remember kind of my line of actions is if I see green, it means it's good to go. The reason why I'm saying that is because if you decide, and you can make an offline map on your cell phone, and oftentimes I do, if you choose to make an offline map on your cell phone out in the field where you might have some but not great cell service, chances are this green box is going to be a candy colored red and white box. And that's indicating that that offline tile, that offline map has not fully been downloaded. It's in process, but it's not fully downloaded. As soon as you see this green box here, or in your mobile device, a green check mark next to the map name, you're going to be good to go. And the reason why I'm kind of harping on this is because it's really, really, really easy to assume that creating these offline maps is as quick as I just made it seem, and it is that quick. But if you're not, if you're on your phone out in the field, just be aware that it might take a little extra time simply because it's pulling that information via satellite and putting it onto your device. So, with that said, I'm going to back out of here. And again, for the sake of redundancy, we have the trail, all the trails right up here in the Discover tab. So you can decide which trail you want to run. Right next to that, you have your offline maps. Cool. So in my mind, this is really the planning stage of my off-road adventure. Another kind of element to my planning phase is I'm going to come over to this tool menu right here, which is on the right-hand side. I'm going to hover over here so you can see me highlight each tool. Where this is on the mobile side, it's the fourth tab in on the bottom. It's going to say tools, tap on that. It's going to expand a card where you will see the route builder, drawing a line, drawing a shape, or adding a waypoint. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a waypoint here next to my pal Sasquatch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look through the different types of waypoints. We have a lot of different icons. The icon library actually is pretty fun. I'm going to click on more, that little plus sign, and you're going to see all of the different icons pop up. So for the sake of this one, let's just say like this is where I'm going to want to have a picnic. And so I'm going to simply select that. I'm going to drag my waypoint right next to Sasquatch because as soon as we see him, we're going to have a picnic with him. And then I'm going to name this Picnic with Sassy. And then you can organize or change the color of your waypoint so that way it's really easy to see on the map. And then when you save that waypoint, I'm going to click on that one more time. If your map gets too cluttered, too overwhelming, and you're like, oh my gosh, where was that I just added the picnic waypoint? I need to make sure that that's like very visible. Or I just need that to go away while I'm planning some other things. Simply hide it on the map and it disappears. If you want it back, turn it back on. You can also share the waypoints or routes. You can share these as simple as hitting the share button down below right here. Sorry, I did that pretty quickly. Click on that, copy the link, and then send that link over via text, via email, and then your pal that you are going out and doing an adventure with will have access to that waypoint. Now, if you're like, well, Andy, that's pretty cool, but like, what happens if I have a lot of content on my map? I've created several waypoints. I have a couple of routes. Like, how do I keep all of the information straight? Well, I'm glad you asked. Right here, you'll see on the nav bar, the My Content tab. Go ahead and click on that. This is basically a filter or organizing system for yourself. It's very individual, but the way that we built this is For you to be able to create folders and organize, whether that's based on trip, whether that's based on a day, whether that's based on the different types of information that you want to kind of categorize or catalog, you can build the folder however you want to. I built one for Mike because I wanted Mike to see some goodies, and then I gave him a few routes that I built, and then I deleted the tracks and lines, but I gave him a couple waypoints, and then this folder is actually shareable, so I can create some routes. And I can have a multi-day adventure, just simply kind of outlined here in my folder. Hit share. Again, same thing. You'll have a shareable link that you simply copy and paste and shoot it over your buddies. A couple things to know. If you are the trip planner and kind of like me, you want to keep all of your information very well organized. You don't want anyone else to mess with it. Don't worry, the master folder, if you've shared it with a few friends, will not get altered if they accept that share and begin to edit it, because that they if they want to edit, they can make a copy of that folder. They can add an extra waypoint or two, whether that's fuel stops, food stops, and that won't impact the master folder. So if you're sort of worried about that, don't worry, we got you covered, because we understand that sharing is caring and really important to successful trip planning and executing. Now, so my content, we have also a really, really, really important feature. If you're coming from other products or other platforms and you have some waypoints or GPX files that you want to pull over, simply go to the import button, hit import, and then I would recommend doing this on desktop, but you can drag over or select the different files, again, KML or GPX, and you can pull those over into onX Offroad. And then if you want to go in and organize based off of the data that you've brought in, you can do so, and then make some folders to help organize your setup and system accordingly. Now, I'm gonna hop over to my garage because I teased it earlier. My garage is a really cool and kind of a quirky little feature that we built. I geek out on mods. I do obviously, as you saw the Land Cruiser. It's moderate, it's tasteful, and I know that others like to go all the way out to the nth degree building out their rigs. But the one thing that we all have in common as off-roaders is we are proud of what we've built because we are proud of how capable they are. So go in, add a vehicle to your garage. This is now available on mobile as well. So you can edit, you can add the make and model of your vehicle. I've got the Land Cruiser selected. I'm not going to go in and edit this a ton. Select the year, give it a name. Obviously, my Land Cruiser's name is Larry. The vehicle type, full size, boom, right there. The type of trails that I'm going to be running, I've got this simply on the high clearance 4x4. You can add photos and then hit save, and you're off to the races there. So I would encourage all of you, go in, geek out. You can make notes about the modifications you've made. If there's notes that you want to take around servicing one of the problem areas of your rig, make a note in the My Garage. It's a really super handy way just to kind of keep the thoughts and photos organized of your prized possessions. Before I continue down, because this is a little bit where the web experience deviates from the mobile, even though it's all the same, if that makes sense. We are going to move over to the tools because that's sort of how the mobile is set up. So I'm going to go to tools and I'm going to walk you through how to build a route. And this might be the quickest demonstration of them all because it's that quick. And I actually want you guys to see how quick it is. So that way, if you have a route that you need to create, you don't have to feel overwhelmed in doing so. So simply tap the route, build route icon. You can name the route whatever you feel is appropriate. You can assign a color for the sake of today. Let's do red. And then just simply begin where you want the route to start. So I'm going to go right here by 90 and then follow that route up. Actually, I might have picked a wrong spot. Let me undo this. Let me go back over here to to an actual trail. So let's discard the route. I'm going to turn this back on so I have a little bit more to work with here. I'm going to start at Goose Creek, and now I'm going to build this route to Independence Creek. And as you can see along the blue trail, this route line is simply finding that trail and snapping right to it. And let's go up to Devil's Peak, which again, if you're looking at, there's a lot of bad practice here happening because I just turned on all the trails. I'm not looking to make sure that the trail I'm routing on is actually accessible for my vehicle type. So just keep that in your mind that you want to make sure you're building on a trail that is accessible by vehicle type. And if you can see, I just went from a blue easy trail into a difficult trail heading up to Devil's Peak. So just keep that in your mind while you're building a route. It's that simple. The route's been created. It's about a 14-minute point to point, a full 14-mile point to point. Um, Elevation gain and loss, it's there for a data point. I almost never reference it, but if you're someone who like might be interested, are you going to hit the snow line? You want to know how far up you've gained on the trail. It might be important to know. You can change the route color, as I mentioned, and then the style and weight, which I think is pretty important just for visibility purposes. I generally keep the weight of my routes thicker so I can see it on my phone easier when I'm out on the trail. If I change it, you can see that it's got dramatically thinner, and then you can change the style from a solid line to a dashed line. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to save this right now because I don't want to clutter up my map. But if you wanted to save that, you hit save. And then you would find that route here in your content tab. Again, tucked and hidden or tucked in the routes category right here. All of my routes are right here. Now, I do a lot of camping, and a lot of my family's off-road adventures actually includes multiple activities beyond just being in a vehicle and getting dirty. So we do a lot of camping, we do a lot of hiking, we do a lot of fishing. So let's just say for the sake of today, I have right here, I'm just going to go ahead and build a route from here to Goose Creek. And then I want to camp somewhere along here. This may not be the best example, but I'm in a risky, frisky mood. So let's zoom in here. And now I'm gonna start looking around because right now I am in a satellite view, and I'm gonna start scouting out where the best place is going to be for myself and my family to maybe camp. So let's keep going a little bit further. And now I'm gonna save this route. And now please follow along. I know I'm going a little fast. If you can see my cursor, I'm gonna come down here to my base map. I'm going to pull this up, and now I'm going to turn my view into 3D because if I'm thinking about hiking, if I'm thinking about camping, the plot of terrain is going to be really important to know. I don't want to be camping on the side of a ridge. So I'm going to turn on 3D. I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit. Hopefully you can see that detail. And I'm just gonna kind of move the map around, just to kind of see like, okay, what am I working with here? Do I have anywhere? that would make sense for my family and I to do some dispersed camping. I mean, this is a pretty hilly area, so I don't know if I'm gonna have the best of luck finding any area, but I'm gonna continue to zoom in here. And you know what? Maybe this may not be the best place for me to take the family to camp, but again, if I'm in the planning phase, I am constantly referencing the 3D map for me to get an understanding of like where the terrain might change and be the most optimal for my type of activity that I am looking to do. And then I am going to tap on right down here. If you can see what I've got highlighted, it's what's called recent imagery, which is simply satellite imagery that we have refreshing about every 2 weeks. And so I'm going to turn this on. And you're gonna see, oh, okay, there has been some snow in the area. Granted, we are not fully out of the winter just yet. I'm gonna zoom out just a little bit. Sorry, it might look like tiles are loading. But yeah, there's definitely been some snow in the area. There's a little bar down here that has the date range of the last time this satellite image was updated. You will see this in mobile as well. And before you blow up my people on the technical side, I do have to caveat that this also is a feature that is only available for elite members. So if you're like, Andy, why don't I see recent imagery? That's an amazing tool that I could actually use quite a bit. It's because you're not an elite member. I'll get into the different membership tiers in just 1 second. Bear with me. But let's just so you can see the power of the image data that we have refreshing. I'm gonna scroll back in time and I am now, all right, I'm now in February transitioning over to March, and you can see the snow start to stack up along the mountains here. Another thing that you might find or realize, or you're saying it right now under your breath, but I can't hear you because your microphone is turned off and I can't see you because your camera's turned off. But you might be like, Andy, like the detail of the map looks kind of pixelated. And I would say when I turn on recent imagery, the resolution quality, I would not say diminishes. And I say that because we are bringing the frequency that we're able to bring in the updated information. We have to do so at a rate that loads as quickly as possible with all of the information necessary to make an informed decision. And simply, if we added more detail resolution currently to the stack, this would be a pretty slow experience. And we are prioritizing the speed of the information that we're providing to you, as well as the accuracy, and recognize that maybe some image quality in some areas might take a little bit of a hit, but that's, dare I say, on purpose. It's so that we can provide you as quick information as humanly possible. So I am going to back out of this just really quickly because we're quarter to the hour. Melissa, before I jump over to the next thing and then the giveaways, are there any like burning questions that just continue to surface that I have not addressed yet?
Oh, we have plenty of questions, Andy.
And while I wait, I'm going to take a sip of water.
The Q&A is hopping tonight. I'm going to drop customer
Okay,
services
I can't hear her,
within.
but that's okay. We are going to quickly move over to Elite, and then we are going to kind of unpack the different membership levels really quickly, and then we get to our giveaway. So don't leave just yet. A lot of you have hung around. Stay with me, please. Okay, Elite Pro Deals. Elite, as I mentioned, we have 3 different membership tiers. You have your free basic user, which you're going to get the bare bones access to the product. We have an amazing, rich amount of features that we want you to benefit from. but as a basic user, you're really not getting access to any of the goods that we have to offer. We have a secondary tier that we call premium. That is $35 a year, which gives you access to the majority of the features. And then we have Elite, which is $100 a year. And with Elite, you have access to the public land information, or I'm sorry, private land information. You have access to recent imagery, satellite imagery, which is again hugely valuable. We also have partner discounts with some of the industry's leading brands, so like Barnes, Method, Warren, and we are constantly adding to this list. And the brand partners offer anywhere from 5 to 25% off the purchase of a full priced item. So, hypothetically, if you're in the market for a new winch from Warren, one purchase and savings of the Warren winch is going to cover the cost of your membership of the Elite for the entire year, which is a pretty incredible deal. And this list continues to grow, especially as we move into more snow markets. So yeah, have a gander. There's a page on our website that kind of breaks down all of the membership tiers and the benefits that come with that. And then what I want to do really quickly before we get to the giveaway, because this is almost as good as the giveaway, and you are the first people, I promise, you are the first people to hear about what I'm about to say. If you notice this really cool hat or this really cool hat or this amazing coach's jacket or this is starting to feel like an Apple keynote if you're familiar. But wait, there's more. This incredible hoodie. Yeah, little blurry. I apologize, but it's all right here on the merch shop. Did you guys know that we have a merch shop? Maybe, maybe not. But did you also know that we have a new content series coming out called Dirt Bound and Down? I cannot get into what the series is going to entail, but it's currently being filmed as we speak. And so there's a few products that have made their way to actually this is my favorite one. The coffee mug, the diner mug, all right here for sale. I'm gonna drop, I don't know if it's been done yet, but I'm gonna drop a link in the chat so you guys have access to it. I have made a bet with someone internally that because of this class, we are going to at least sell out of this hat, okay? And we're going to sell out of this coach's jacket. So do me a favor, go in and purchase the Dirt Bound and Down. I think it's probably our best product that we've ever actually released. And then tune in, and I cannot say anymore, but around June, tune in to YouTube, tune in to some teaser reels on Instagram where some amazing content is coming down the pike. And then we're going to get to kind of my favorite moment of the class, which is the giveaway. And this is also just as big of a deal. And that is we have, hopefully you can see when I go into the slideshow. Cool. Our giveaway tonight. So if you're familiar with onX, the brand, onX Offroad, the brand, you might have heard about the build challenge that we ran last year. We had 4 teams. It was incredible. The teams were getting into a whole sorts of trouble might be the wrong word, but a lot of adventure and amazing things. We've got season 2 of the Build Challenge happening now. And so we are going to give away 7 Build Challenge team swag items. So please go in. An onX Offroad account is required. A free account works. But let us know which teammate you are voting for. Fab Rats, Dirt Lifestyle, Bleep and Jeep, Robbie Layton, Rudy from Rad. Vote on your favorite teammate. or team and get access to one of the swag items for joining tonight's masterclass. Again, there's only 7, but you're going to be a proud wearer of this great swag. And then as you depart into your weekend and in the month to come, follow along with us on all of our adventures. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, like I said, Snap. Be looking for some of these great content series coming out the door. And then, yeah, again, if you have any other questions, you can always email our support team. But yeah, we are glad you are here and we hope that you have an amazing time out on the trail. So thank you for joining tonight's masterclass and hope to see you guys again soon. All right. Peace.